China's youth are facing a crisis of disillusionment. Born into an era of unprecedented economic boom, they are now confronting a far more uncertain future. The promise of endless opportunity feels increasingly out of reach. They grapple with societal pressures, economic anxieties, and a sense that the system is rigged. Youth unemployment has reached record highs, surpassing 20%. This represents millions unable to find their footing in the workforce. The cost of living continues to skyrocket. Housing prices have spiraled out of control. Traditional markers of success seem increasingly unattainable. This frustration has given rise to Tang, or lying flat. It is a philosophy of quiet resistance, rejecting relentless pressure. To understand the roots of this disillusionment, one must first grasp the immense weight of expectation placed upon China's youth. They are the inheritors of the one-child policy, raised to be the engine of China's ascent. Parents poured hopes and resources into their single child, fueling a hyper-competitive academic environment. This pressure cooker environment has come at a cost. Young people, burdened by their parents' sacrifices, are reaching their breaking point. The Tang movement is a plea for a more balanced existence. In an attempt to address growing concerns about academic pressure and its impact on mental health, the Chinese government implemented sweeping reforms to the education sector in 2021. These reforms, which included a crackdown on the lucrative private tutoring industry, were intended to alleviate the burden on students and promote a more holistic approach to education. However, these well-intentioned reforms have had unintended consequences. The crackdown on private tutoring, while curbing the excesses of a largely unregulated industry, has also created a void that many parents and students feel ill-equipped to fill. Moreover, the reforms have done little to address the underlying anxieties that drive the demand for supplemental education. The job market remains fiercely competitive, and a university degree, while no longer the guaranteed pathway to success it once was, is still seen as a prerequisite for a decent life. In this context, the education reforms, rather than alleviating anxiety, have simply shifted the burden. Parents, now deprived of their usual channels for supplementing their children's education, are left scrambling for alternatives, further fueling the sense of uncertainty and insecurity that pervades Chinese society. The pressures facing China's youth extend far beyond the classroom. Those fortunate enough to secure employment often find themselves ensnared in a work culture that is as demanding as it is unforgiving. This culture, known colloquially as 996, refers to the grueling schedule of working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. While 996 is most prevalent in the tech industry, it has become increasingly common in other sectors as companies strive to maintain their competitive edge in China's cutthroat economy. Employees, particularly young workers eager to prove themselves, are often pressured to work these long hours, sacrificing their personal lives in the name of company loyalty and career advancement. However, the relentless pace of 996 is taking its toll. Burnout, anxiety, and depression are rampant among young workers. Many are questioning the value of sacrificing their health and well-being for a job that offers little in the way of work-life balance or personal fulfillment. The Tang movement can be seen in part as a rejection of this soul-crushing work culture. It is a plea for a more humane approach to labor, one that recognizes the importance of personal time, mental health, and the pursuit of passions outside of work. Section 5, a closed door on the job market. A shrinking job market and record graduates create a perfect storm for China's youth. Competition for entry-level positions is fierce, leaving many overqualified and underemployed. This mismatch is a growing concern for the economy. The economic slowdown exacerbates the situation, leading to hiring freezes and layoffs. The Tang movement reflects resignation as traditional success pathways are no longer guaranteed. Section 6. The housing crisis dreams deferred. The dream of home ownership, once a cornerstone of the Chinese middle-class aspiration, has become a distant fantasy for many young people. Skyrocketing housing prices, driven by speculation and a shortage of affordable options, have placed home ownership out of reach for a generation already struggling with student debt and stagnant wages. This housing crisis has far-reaching consequences. It not only impacts individuals' ability to build wealth and plan for the future, but also has broader implications for social stability. The inability to afford a home in the city where one works or grew up can lead to forced migration, family separation, and a sense of rootlessness and alienation. The Chinese government has implemented various policies to address the housing crisis, including restrictions on speculation and investments in affordable housing. However, these measures have largely failed to curb runaway prices, and the gap between housing costs and incomes continues to widen. For young people, the housing crisis is yet another symbol of a system that feels rigged against them. It represents a fundamental failure to provide for their basic needs and a betrayal of the promise that hard work and dedication will be rewarded with a better life. Section 7, the Let It Rot movement, a quiet rebellion. The Tang or Let It Rot movement, while difficult to quantify in terms of sheer numbers, is more than just a passing fad. It represents a profound shift in the attitudes and aspirations of China's youth, a quiet rebellion against the societal expectations and economic pressures that have come to define their lives. At its core, Tang is a rejection of the hustle culture that has long been celebrated in China. It is a recognition that the relentless pursuit of material success can come at a steep cost to one's mental health, personal relationships, and overall well-being. This movement is not about laziness or apathy, as some critics have suggested. Rather, it is about redefining success on one's own terms, about prioritizing personal fulfillment and meaning over the accumulation of wealth and status symbols. It is a cry for a more balanced and sustainable way of life, one that values individual well-being as much as economic productivity. It is a quiet revolution in values, a rejection of the materialistic ethos that has come to dominate Chinese society. Section 8, Economic Tremors, the Price of Apathy. The Let It Rot movement, while primarily a social phenomenon, has profound implications for the Chinese economy. The growing disillusionment among young people is translating into reduced consumer spending, a trend that has set alarm bells ringing in Beijing. China's economic miracle has long been fueled by a growing middle class with an insatiable appetite for consumer goods. However, as young people, burdened by debt and disillusioned with the system, tighten their belts, the economy is feeling the pinch. This decline in consumer spending has contributed to a broader economic slowdown, forcing policymakers to confront the possibility that their growth model, predicated on endless expansion and insatiable consumerism, may no longer be sustainable. The Let It Rot movement in this context is not merely a social problem, it is an economic threat. It represents a fundamental challenge to the consumerist engine that has powered China's rise, and its implications for the country's economic future are only beginning to be felt. Section 9. A demographic time bomb. The economic anxieties fueling the Let It Rot movement are compounded by a demographic time bomb ticking at the heart of Chinese society. The legacy of the one-child policy, implemented in 1979 and formally ended in 2016, continues to cast a long shadow. While intended to curb population growth and alleviate poverty, the policy has resulted in a shrinking workforce, a rapidly aging population, and an imbalanced sex ratio. These demographic shifts have profound implications for China's economic future and its ability to provide for its aging population. The shrinking workforce means fewer young people entering the labor pool to support a growing elderly population. This demographic imbalance places a strain on social security systems, healthcare, and other social services. The Chinese government, acutely aware of these challenges, has implemented various policies to encourage couples to have more children, including financial incentives and expanded parental leave. However, these measures have had limited success in reversing the declining birth rate. Section 10. Can Beijing stem the tide? The challenges facing China's youth are complex and multifaceted, with no easy solutions. The Let It Rot movement, a symptom of deeper societal and economic anxieties, presents a formidable challenge to the Chinese government. Addressing these challenges will require a multi-pronged approach that goes beyond superficial attempts to boost consumer spending or encourage childbirth. It will require a fundamental reassessment of the social contract between the government and its people, one that prioritizes the well-being of its citizens as much as economic growth. This will require addressing the root causes of disillusionment among young people, including the hyper-competitive education system, the soul-crushing 996 work culture, and the lack of affordable housing. It will require creating a more equitable and just society, one that offers genuine opportunities for advancement and a fair shot at a decent life. Whether the Chinese government can rise to this challenge remains to be seen. The stakes, however, are high. The future of China, its continued economic prosperity, and its social stability may well depend on its ability to address the legitimate grievances of its disillusioned youth.
So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and let's turn the page on a new adventure together. Get ready to experience books like never before, only on VBook 360. Like, comment, and share to support the channel and keep the video magic alive. Thank you for stopping by. And remember, every video has a story, and every story deserves to be shared. See you in the next video.